Hello, everybody, and
Welcome back to the morning show.
No, this is not the morning show.
Welcome to the morning show.
Fuck,
We are reviewing the Primus album.
This is not the morning show. This is the question.
How did you guys feel about the Brown album? Where is that going to go on a tier list?
The newest poly band, The Smiths, has released a new album, and it's called Questioning Signalis. And we're here to review it.
My favorite polycule.
Tool has released a new album called Insert Title Here. How do you guys feel about that Tool album? What do you think?
I just don't know why they had to credit Trentino Gaming. I really don't know what we.
A little bit. It's a little weird. Okay, let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of this.
This is a little after show we proposed because as much as the ending was satisfying and cool, well, I'm not gonna lie. At least I have a lot left questions, and me and Ashley just kind of wanted to do a quick little bonus video for you, and we will go over the lore with this guy, as explained by this man. This guy right here is going to tell us the lore. So, Josh, are you feeling up for it? Okay. Josh. What were you saying?
Can we reframe this video and call it the trial of Signalis, where Trenton and I try to prove to Josh that this game sucks?
No, because I don't think that. At all.
Ashton can believe that's what the video is. Ashton can be... Okay, here's what I think. I'm the defendant. Ashton is the prosecutor. Trenton is the judge.
Okay. Yes. Somehow we're making this about whether the game's good or not when I'm just trying to figure out lore. But anyway. Okay. So next up, I just wanted to lay this all out. Am I missing any important characters out of this?
I don't think you are. You are.
Then let's move forward and we'll get into it. First off, the photo of Alina Seo. What's the deal? This is the thing that's been bugging me ever since I rewatched our playthrough. Because who is Alina Seo? Why do we have a picture of her at the start of the game? And why does the picture change?
So it can really be whatever you fucking want it to be. In my headcanon, Ashton's like, this fucking asshole's gonna make something up about this story. He's gonna make something fucking up.
I feel like that's always a telltale sign of good writing. You know, you ask a question and the answer is, well, my headcanon is blah, blah, blah.
No, I like it. Well, here's my theory, and this is, I think, what is kind of accepted as a good theory, not depending, but what is in the game. Also, I want to say to the viewers, I have been drinking a little bit, so I'm gonna probably go into nonsensical fucking answers. I'm not drinking Smirnoff. I'm drinking a nice mead. That's Trenton photoshopped that in. I'm not actually holding that. Don't fucking keep on going back to it. So I think, to me, since we are playing as a replica of Lilith Tau, and that's pretty much confirmed because it's Viatin. Yeah.
Yes, cool.
Yes, it's pretty much confirmed in my eyes that we are playing as Lilith. Right, or as a form of Lilith after she got her brain copied and fucking all this other shit, right?
Okay, awesome.
At least to a certain point. Alina Seo, a lot of people think as well, is at least a really close friend or war buddy to her, and I think it's meant to serve as a little bit of a memory of Ariane, a memory of her. You know what I mean? That's why they bond so closely, is because she's remembering, oh, I used to have a war buddy. Ariane is really similar to that, and I either loved Alina Seo or I was really good friends with her or some other fucking bullshit. So that's why Ariane and Elster start to love each other, is because it reminds her of Alina Seo.
Josh, do you think it's possible that these photos are mass printed with every Elster unit as a fetish item because without it they found out that they tweaked out?
Oh.
Like it could be good for their
Ashton,
programming.
the
If like
fetish.
if I got like reproduced into a robot, but they didn't make Trenton a part of my head canon and I was just fucking crazy, they might put a picture of Trenton in my wallet so that I was chilled out.
So no, because if you remember in the game, they don't want them to remember their past
Oh, I'm
because
sorry, I'm a
that
fucking idiot.
no.
No, that's okay. No. Ashton,
I'm just stupid. I'm just fucking stupid to you, huh? No, I'm just kidding. No, in the game they didn't, because that's what they considered a personality degradation or a persona degradation, whatever they called it. They didn't specifically want them to remember their past because then they'll stop being as efficient, or they'll stop being more efficient than the Gestalt people, right?
So
Which
then,
is the humans.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they didn't want them to remember. So this is something that is only God fucking damn, I keep on dropping my metal balls.
Could you not? Could you?
Okay, sorry, I was fidgeting with them. I'll put them down.
No, I'm kidding.
I got it. Okay.
I don't want to hurt your autistic little brain.
It's not autistic. It's
Josh,
ADHD, pal.
Josh, you know, and I know, and we both know because we both are the same.
how does this relate to Signalis?
Trenton, you haven't been tested. I haven't been tested, so
I have been tested. I have.
How does this relate to Signalis?
Are you autistic, Trent?
No, I just have ADHD. That's all. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so you haven't been tested for autism. So I don't have autism. Fucking whatever.
Okay. Okay. The one thing I want to interrupt though before you keep talking about Alina real quick is this might get a little bit too deep, but I want to make sure I have this understanding right. I put Elster 1. I put Elster 1 because we started the game with an Elster unit, right? And with the same goal as us, and she crash lands in the same place, blah, blah, blah. And she has this photo. And then eventually the photo changes. But then she dies, hypothetically speaking, in the game. She dies.
Who dies? Who dies? Who dies?
The Elster that we were playing.
No. The Elster that we're playing never dies.
The Elster that we're playing never dies. Sorry, I'm cutting that out because Elster that we're playing never dies because she is. Because what was it? How did it end again? She ripped her arm off, and then
she ripped her arms off, and she eventually gets into the thing, but she does rip her arms off, and that's where the fake out comes on. But then it turns into a remembrance section, and then it turns into her getting the chest plate and shit, and then she goes into the last part of the game.
So she gets her arm back. Okay, so it's all the same Elster through the whole game.
Yes.
Okay. Forgive me, audience. That was a stupid. I had this weird notion that she.
There are no stupid questions. This is a very confusing game, so it's fine.
And we know that there was an original. So one of the main things that things that stuck out to me in my head was just the idea that there was an original Elster. We met her. She was dead on the floor.
No. Well, there wasn't an original Elster per se. I'm sure there was. We don't play these as the original Elster, and we don't see the original Elster. You know what I mean? The actual unit. We do know that we do have a good theory of who the copy was, or who we got the copy from, which is Lilith Etau. We assume that it's her because there's a lot of things pointing to her, and that's the only character who is a Vietnam veteran or whatever the fuck. And also other information is that when they get set up into the fucking space, the original copy of her brain gets corrupted, and then they have to use the backup that they had when they sent people out into space. And that's a very important part of the story, is that the original copy of Lilith Etau is corrupted for some fucking reason, which is probably Eldritch, intervention or whatever, to get all of the Elsters that were on with Ariane to all the Elsters that are going to be mass produced.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. And but to be clear, when I said the original Elster, I was not talking about Lilith. I'm considering
Okay.
Lilith and the original Elster a separate thing. When I said original Elster, I was talking about the one that was dead in the ship.
We don't know if that's the original Elster, and I would probably say no, it's not, because yeah, you go.
I think it's pointless to try and find. I feel like the plot is more concerned with the cyclical and futile nature of Elster's journey rather than the first one to do it. Because if all of these Elsters are doing the same thing and failing in unique ways, it doesn't matter who started. What's important is who ends it, which is why we're following the last one, not the first one. Because the first one is the one among a million. It's
Right.
not an important story to the lore.
That's
I agree. I agree.
It's very fair. Okay. The only reason why I viewed it as important was because to correlate it to this photo.
Oh yeah. Like why do we have this photo?
Why do we have this photo? Hypothetically, that Elster unit had this photo, but this is a completely, hypothetically speaking, this could be an unrelated photo that Elster unit had, and has nothing to do with the story that Ariane. Now, I know that's not the case, but I'm just saying hypothetically.
No, I get you, Trenton. So if you recall, there's actually 3 photos. Look up the first photo, because it actually just has Ariane.
Fuck!
Spoilers!
Fuck!
See, where did we physically attain this photo from, though?
Well, we just started, at the start of the game, we just had a photo.
Yeah, but like, why? Who gave our fucking robot this?
What the fuck?
Yeah, see, that's the first photo in the first part of the game, right? So if you look at that, we know some bullshit's happening, because this photo keeps on fucking changing and being bullshit. And this is where it leads me into believing that it's fucking up, because we never know if Ariane was ever a soldier in the Vietnam War, or would ever have served with Lilith Ital. And there's actually proof that they would never have, right? So I believe that what is happening here is the Eldritch Being, right? It's bioresonance fucking up reality, basically, is sending out its reality-changing waves throughout history, and it's basically changing shit, and it's going, well, no. Ariane, you knew Ariane from the original. It's what I believe, and I thought about this when we actually finished it. What I think is this Eldritch entity is trying to recreate the promise. It's trying to get Elster to kill Ariane, right? It's trying to get the promise out there, right? And it's fucked up way, whatever possible, right? Some Elster units fucking die. They get pitched down the elevator. Some Elsters get to the last ship and they refuse to kill Ariane. But what matters is that our last Elster has the potential of actually killing Ariane, potentially ending the loop, and or meeting with the ghost of Ariane and then satisfying the ghost in another way. That's for later.
Like,
but anyways, hold on. I'll let you go after this, but let me explain this. So it's,
let me cook. Let him cook.
No, but let me finish my thought, because I think I might be able to answer your question. These 3 photos, I think, are sequentially Elster's understanding of what is going on and where the promises lies, because the photo changes from the first part of the game to the mid part of the game to the end of the game, right?
Right.
So Elster gets starts understanding what the promise is, what she needs to do, and she's fed this information, because she's not the original Elster. She's another model from some other fucking planet that somehow got to this rot front, to the mining facility that the game takes place in. So I look at it as this Eldritch Being changing facts and details to lead an Elster along to complete the process, or to complete the promise, right?
Okay.
And Alina Sao is quite a convenient thing because Arena and Alina Xiao, or whatever her name is, are quite similar to Lilith and Elster, because Elster and Lilith share the same kind of mind. Xiao is, a friend of Lilith. Elster is a friend of Ariane. So they share a parallel. That's when we see that scene of all the different copies of a character. We can
Right.
assume that those copies of those characters are kind of the same character in this fucked up eldritch universe, right?
Hmm.
That's personally what I believe, and I think that is, I think, what's accepted as like headcanon. But again, that's just me maybe spouting bullshit. But anyways, I'll let Ashton go.
It sounds like I'm just going to reiterate what you said in hopefully a more concise and perceivable way as
Mhm.
to my understanding.
Yes.
This photo may not even physically exist. What's
Yes.
important is that the eldritch horror that is, what was her name? Ariane,
Hmm.
is basically just sending out signals and slow corruptions to every Elster unit and grasping onto what hopefully will get them closer to completing the promise. So, whatever, it's like a slow truth coming out of corruption into the brains of these Elsters as to slowly drive them to what they're supposed to do. So,
Yes.
even if the first implication is just, this is just a picture of someone that you need to get to. It might not be the right person right now, but what you need to understand is that there's someone you need to get to. So even if it's
Yes.
obscured, so long as the DNA of your objective is there, it could be a very tactful and, what would you call it? Intentional
Mhm.
way that the eldritch being could do it, or it could just be a kind of guesstimating AI learning system trying to throw images into the head of the elster to see what works as far as it getting closer to its goal, or it could be very planned out, being, we're going to go with the obscured picture of a maybe person and then a more solidified version of someone, and then finally we're going to bring in the big guns. We're just going to show you the real deal.
Yes.
Mhm.
I agree with your second interpretation, because in my headcanon, it isn't Arena and it isn't an Eldritch Being. It's a combination of two. So it's an entirely new fucking thing. So they don't necessarily understand anything. And so they're just sending out, okay, like every Elster unit, just come here, right? So an Elster unit might have a photo, might have something that might link them to Rotfront where it happens. And so they're just trying, they're just sending out
Yeah.
what it happens until we get to the last Elster.
For
But
all we
yes, I would
know,
agree with you.
the Elsters are looking at their fucking identification cards, and the Eldritch Horror is projecting a picture of something onto it. And because we're
Yes.
playing from the Elsters' perspective, we just see the interpretation, the picture that does not actually exist. So that's why it
Uh,
changes and blah blah blah.
yes. Yes. I would agree.
That yeah. Okay, so so that was actually very illuminating. That was very illuminating. Good job, Josh. The Smirnoff is working.
It's not working. It's
Smirnoff.
I don't look like that. That's not actually what I look like.
I don't know about that one, but okay. So but so you've. I'm just going to skip over here. Um, and we can kind of get to that question on screen right now, but I really just want to sit in on this whole eldritch entity thing, what you mean by that, because I've started to get a bit confused. So anyway,
Okay.
you could answer the question in correlation to this, but you don't have to. Well,
Okay.
I just want to clarify: is it a just an eldritch entity that for some reason has this attachment to Ariane?
Okay.
Or is it B? Ariane is has basically become an eldritch entity just through her mind powers. Is it all her hypothetically? Maybe she's not in control, but is it just her, or is it C, something in between? Is it her powers have kind of created something new that's out of her control? So you see what I mean? Is it just her? Is it something else, and it wants something to do with her, or did she create it? You know
So
what I mean?
I believe with what the game gives us, right? With the King in Yellow and the bookstore and Ariane being a person who reads and wants to escape fascism and shit like that, I believe that Ariane had read The King in Yellow, right? Because I think it was a physical book in the story of the game.
Okay.
And I think The King in Yellow gives us, and I'm saying this to answer your question. I'm gonna get to it. I have a point with this.
Right.
Ariane reads The King in Yellow, and she gets an idea in her head that there are forces beyond our understanding. Before she knows about bioresonance, or before she fully even understands, which I don't think she ever does, she knows that there's thoughts that go beyond our understanding. You know, the King in Yellow is all about, you read the King in Yellow play and you just go fucking insane, right? You believe certain things and other people somehow find their way into your life to make you go even more insane and to eventually kill your brother because she has a sick wife or whatever the fuck happens in King in Yellow. I forget. Um, but I believe the King in Yellow does two things, as in to clue us in that it is something deeper, like an eldritch being, and it tells us that Elster, or I'm sorry, Ariane, has knows about this book. And so when we start to look at Elster, or sorry, Ariane as a eldritch being, I think it's a combination of. I honestly think it's just the promise, right? It's her yearning so much to die by her loved one that it manifests in its own godlike entity. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's in space. It fucking starts fucking with shit. But long after the original Ariane is dead in space, they crash on a planet, snow planet, and Ariane starts to explore. The damage is already done because Ariane has already started wishing for death, wishing for this promise, no matter what, to be fulfilled. And that's why we see the world start to bend and conform to the idea of this, that this promise needs to be completed. That's why we see so many Elsters die. That's why we see the bottom of the mining shaft be
Oh, yeah.
basically a red planet that shouldn't be possible, right? That's why we see flesh start forming to put Elster on the right path to finish the promise, right? And
Right.
so I think it's mostly Ariane, but it's Ariane's most deepest latent desires that she really couldn't control herself. There's no conscious decision in that. It's all unconscious shit, right? And it's something that we can't understand as people and outside viewers in the story because we don't know what the fuck Eldritch entity is. We don't know if it's the red thing or the red eye that's mentioned in the story. We all we know is that it's some kind of higher power that we cannot understand
It
Right.
that's making the
it's
plays.
it sounds like I'm gonna do what I did the first time, just kind of reset everything and hope that I get it right to summarize. In like it and a lot of Stephen King's work, there are cosmic beings that exist outside of human conception, things that we cannot understand. And these cosmic beings often either feed on or are very intertwined with human feelings. Like in it, the kids are initially, afraid of the dead eyes or Pennywise, and that's what gives it power. It feeds off that. But when they stop that, their essence, this is also a thing in insomnia. People have essences and auras that affect the cosmic energy around them. And it sounds like there's just this overarching, almost indifferent cosmic energy that feeds off and takes the form of the feelings of beings in its vicinity. So,
And probably most likely bioresonant.
yeah, that's what that is, I think.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think people are in this world, in this universe, are aware of the fact that occasionally, when they feel things very strongly, very strange things occur, and they do not understand it. So you get this folklore history about it, i.e., the like red eye stuff about the sea. It's everyone is
Right.
seemingly to an extent isn't aware of this cosmic energy, and at some point, scientists start experimenting with it and using it, so it becomes a more scientifically grounded thing, and people become, that's scary. Cosmic horror, IRL confirmed. We're using it for AI. And that thing has sensed Ariane's incredible desire to die and has just started feeding off of it and conflating with it to mold itself to its desires. Like an amorphous kind
That's
of goop that isn't necessarily conscious. It's just
Mhm.
like a weird
It
inverse parasitic relationship where it
right,
gets
Yeah.
satisfaction out of fulfilling the things its being senses.
right.
Well, I think the Eldritch Being is Ariane in a way that this Eldritch Being didn't exist before, right? Because we look in the story and we know that Ariane is a very powerful bioresonance user, and she might not know it, and other people may not know it, but the fact that the spy that was fucking around and doing shit, and the fact that also may have been a spy from, picking off where that last spy left off, we know that she has a very, 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 very high altitude, no matter, like, a higher than anyone else ever recorded, right? Like a huge amount of altitude to it. And sorry, we just know that she has a high altitude for it.
It's like
Right. I could see it. I could see it exactly both ways. That
Yeah, no,
it,
and that's the beauty of it,
that
because it
yeah,
could be
totally.
both ways. I
It
could be
could
totally
be
fucking wrong.
that I could be, and I'm sure the story does not have any definitive or anything close to a definitive answer. But I like that it could be. I see it both ways, where it could be a latent, like, just thing that exists, this overall cosmic energy thing, and she was just so powerful that that she tapped into it, or like it directly kind of fed off of her
I
high
think it's
resonance.
more of a kind of like what Ashton said. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I
Well,
think this may answer. What? Sorry,
I
you go.
I was repeating what Ash. I was repeating my own interpretation of what Ashton said.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah.
Well, you
Um,
you finish it then.
Yeah. Well, that's my point. I see
Oh,
it
okay.
both ways, but I guess either way the point stays mostly the same. I guess more so it's just kind of discussing how much of a play does Ariane have in any of it, which is not much either way, other than the fact that she's so super powerful, and
I
It
wants to die so super bad.
I, I want to die so bad.
I,
Please kill me.
yeah.
it sounds like you know how in The Shining, we have another link. The first one I'll make. People in the Stephen King universe, in The Shining, we see this with Danny. They are born with the shine. There are certain people who are just born connected to a cosmic energy that no one can understand.
Right.
B, the other link, the universe in Signalis mirrors in this Eldritch being the setting, the surrounding overlook, or mirrors the overlook in the way that the overlook is a character in The Shining itself, and it's a character that feeds off of the feelings of people inside of it. Mostly stronger feelings, like Danny and mostly Jack Nicholson's character, Jack. When Jack gets to the Overlook, it starts feeding off him, and Jack begins to feed off the Overlook, and the Overlook begins to align itself with Jack's motivations to basically assist in the demise of his family. And I feel like
Right.
we're seeing a similar thing in Signalis, though not necessarily nefarious. The entire universe around Ariane is beginning to mold to her desires because she's so in touch. She's shining so brightly.
Hmm.
That's actually
Yeah.
so fucking real because the carpet in the game referenced Shining as well.
Oh, that's
Right.
right. I'm a
Yeah,
fucking genius.
yeah.
That's
Right.
right. I read
You
books.
you
Yeah.
hey.
Well,
I'm not
that's
gonna lie.
so.
That's actually such a really fucking
Yeah.
a fucking genius fucking tie. I didn't really think about that in The Shining specifically.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least I
that's
guess in
and
the
that's
movie.
such a
Shut up,
cool.
Ashton.
No, that's such a cool. I definitely agree because it makes me appreciate this in a different way, where it's kind of two different sides of the same coin. If you analyze The Shining versus this one, where it's you know, uh, Jack is, at least if you take the movie's interpretation, he is an inherently violent and abusive person, and it was bubbling up inside him, and then the hotel just brought that out, and as you said, kind of pushed it and made it kind of you know what I mean, like made it possible, I guess. Pushed him to make the final fucking thing, right? Whereas in this case, it's more of it feels more like uncontrolled to me, right? Because like it's like if the promise was, please choke me out, please, I beg you. I don't necessarily know what the Eldritch, why this overall power would create things in the way that it has. It seems more like it's uncontrollable.
That's kind of it's interesting that you say that, because going off of, if we're going to go off the piggyback of what Ashton said from a view of The Shining, right? The Shining was very focused in what it wanted to do, and it had less people in it, right? It wasn't this big thing. It just fed off of Jack himself and his family, right? There wasn't any extra shit, I should say. It wasn't like Jack and his family were, on different planets. They were in the same hotel, so it was easy for them to feed off and fulfill that promise and make the steps happen to kind of facilitate, him fucking with his family, because they're in the same hotel. All the bullshit's happening, versus Ariane, who, maybe if we were to think about bioresonance, Jack isn't as bioresonant. He just had really strong feelings to violence, and Ariane has really strong bioresonance, and she's like, okay, what are the steps to fucking make this happen, right? And now this off of the feelings, this really strong first, and on top of that, really strong bioresonance. Now the show is bringing is like, okay, well, shit, I have to fucking orchestrate multiple planets worth of bullshittery to make the promise happen. You know what I mean? It has to be on Rockfront, because that's where Ariane was born. We have to make the Elster remember all this bullshit because the fascist government wants the units to forget about it. And it culminates in a lot stronger of a, like, or maybe not stronger, but a lot grander of a event.
Epic.
Because it's a more epic of an event, because we're looking at a hotel versus a star system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A star system with crazy monsters. I guess that's really what I'm getting at, where if you take away the obvious, it needs to do it for the gameplay. Why exactly does the entity, why or why not, or anyway, you know what I mean? Does the entity create such a, world where, the what is it? The fucking Storch units grow legs for heads, or why is it that way? But you could connect it to that, where you could say that it is to make it grander. It is to make the promise a bigger thing.
I think it's because the Eldritch being and also Ariane, you can look at it from a lot of different ways. I think it's like at Ariane and the Eldritch being, that this promise being is getting impatient in a way, and it's slowly corrupting after every Elster comes into the unit, and after every Elster tries to do this, it slowly corrupts it. We know that too much of the abuse of bioresonance leads to persona degradation and the altering of reality itself. So we could look at the altering of reality itself as like the flesh, the fucking, the units going crazy, and then also adding more terrifying features, which, in fairness, like what Ashton said, it's probably also feeding off the people, because, again, we're living in or I guess Elster and Ariane, specifically Ariane, are living in a fucked up fascist society where the replicas, where the replicas are authoritarian forces. Like, the Storts are meant to fucking enforce rules. You know what I mean? They're meant to fucking beat you, and they're meant to be the backbone of society, right? And the Gestalt are basically supposed to be the still human but workers as well. So I think it's also kind of feeding off of that, and it's also every cycle it's getting more and more corrupted. It's getting more and more fucked up. That's why Adler, at a part of the game, he's like, I've seen this get more and more fucked up. Like, you go in there and you don't do it, it's just gonna get more and more fucked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just gonna keep on getting worse and worse and worse and worse after every Elster as the being keeps on trying to fulfill the promise. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know what Ashton was gonna say.
It sounds like the Eldritch being slash Arion is like they have mind control, but they kind of suck at it, and their mind control Eldritch horror radiation is working really hard to get all the Elsters to it, but it's not a sealed system. There's radiation coming out of them that's corrupting every other unit there to make it violent, to make it degrade. And it's also just happening with reality as we see flesh begin to fucking. I don't know what Adler's deal is. Like, personally, if I saw this happening, he seems to be pretty aware. I'd be like, all right, you want help? Because I'm a little sick of killing your clones. Let's just go
Well, yeah.
together.
Well, okay, so that
Actually, it's actually genius that you just fucking said that. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Shane.
yeah, yeah.
I need to say
No,
this
no, no,
real
no,
quick.
no, 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 no. I'm more
Okay.
important. Hold on. There you go. I wanted to pull this up, and now we can talk about it. Josh, what were you gonna say?
So we see in there. So Trent says it's kind of more like. I'm sorry. Ashton says it's more like radiation. It's imperfect. We see that Falk is the first person that goes into the mines, where assumedly the first bits of the fucked up reality starts to happen, right? And she goes down there and she starts getting Elster's memories, right? Um, and I believe that, like Ashton said, it is still an imperfect being. As eldritch as it might be, it's still imperfect. And it's trying to do this promise in any way that it can perceivably happen. That's why it goes to Falk. And it's like, well, that's maybe Elster. And fucking injects all of the fucking memories of Elster into her brain. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have memories that aren't mine. I have this idea in my head that I need to accomplish. I have no fucking clue. And Adler sees this and he's like, okay, that's weird. And then Falk eventually goes into endless sleep, and Adler tries to deal with the rest of the Elsters and all the other bullshit that's happened, right? I think this also, in a way, serves as a parallel to Elster and Ariane, because we can see that Adler is very obsessive as a unit, as a replica, I guess you should say, is obsessive to Falk just by design, right?
Right.
And we can also compare that to Elster and Ariane. Elster is very, close to Ariane, which would be able to do anything, right? And so I think that's a parallel that this eldritch being, the promise being, is trying to draw. It's like, hey, look, Adler's willing to do anything for Falk, and that's why he's killing all of you. Well, I mean, you should be able to kill me, right, Ariane?
It's
And so that's why it goes to Falk as, okay, you're Ariane, right? And Adler's would be Alistair, but that never really comes to fruition because probably Adler would never kill Falk ever.
it
Period.
could also be for like plot reasons. Elster needs a foil, and we need somebody to talk to give us plot. And also, as for like direct in-universe motivations, he is still a replica. He is still coded to behave a certain way, and it's likely that in his coding it says, "Hey, if there are robots acting out of line, stop them no matter what." And all of the Elsters are indeed acting out of line, so it's in his coding to stop them. And he seems pretty like conscious. Like I
Well,
wanted to assume he had a lot of agency, but he's also still a robot. He's still programmed.
right. I have a slightly different, well, maybe not different, but a thing to view is that he is aware. He more than anything, he's aware of the loop in ways that other characters aren't. He's aware that consistently these fucking Elster units keep coming down here, and I have to keep killing them. And it doesn't. It's not like he realizes every time. There's some times where it doesn't necessarily look like that, but there are. He is very clearly aware that this keeps happening, right? And the thing that I wanted to posit, the question was, if he's aware that this is happening, why does he try? I guess what is he aware of? Because why is he so insistent on stopping Elster? Right?
It
If he and as you said, right, it could be programming. That could be one thing, but you know, you could also say like,
Well,
yeah, why is he trying to stop her? If anyway, go ahead, Josh. I think you have something to say.
I do.
Yes.
Adler's wants to stop at Elster because every Elster he sees is more and more fucking up the environment around him, right? So he's like seeing this, he's like, okay, well, I have like flesh growing around me, so yeah, he's like this.
Here.
There's flesh going around me, and every single Elster I see, it seems to get worse. So, I should probably kill every single one.
yeah. I mean,
I
all-
guess
the only thing I would say there.
it's just
all
he's just go ahead, Ashton, while I'm pulling this up.
it seems like all Adler is aware of is that the same kind of machine keeps coming towards him and killing things around him and worsening his environment. So as far as he understands, it's their physical presence that's making everything worse. So it makes sense intuitively for him to want to kill them because he doesn't necessarily know why they're there, if not just to make things worse.
I don't agree. I don't agree because of this scene.
Let's see.
This poor fucking guy.
Fuck you.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, yes. So that
Have you
that
wait? Okay, hold
scene-
on. Have you ever watched that Marabou simplified video right there?
What the
That
ad?
go on to the right a year ago. Signalis
Signalis
simplified.
simplified.
Okay.
The red one.
Signalis simplified. That's
Oh,
a really
okay.
funny video, and it's all fucking bullshit, but I really like it.
Okay,
So you
I'll
should
watch
watch
that.
it. But anyways,
Okay.
but yeah. Well, sorry. You guys continue on.
Yeah, so the point being that scene communicates to me that he knows a little bit more, not much more. He probably doesn't even know who Ariane is or anything like that, but he clearly knows something, right? It's not just as simple as these fucking Elster units keep coming into my fucking mind, causing shit. It's clearly like I don't know. I feel like he knows more than just that.
I think he does.
It's just complicated. He's very, I don't know. He's definitely in like more than anything, he's definitely just a victim in all this, and a more aware victim than most people, but a victim.
Well, in my opinion, he's the realest character that we have because, in my opinion, the Ataus are just remnants of a memory that that this Eldritch being is struggling with to kind of try to make a more convincing story, right? That's why she turned into black goop and she just kind of just disappears for the rest of the story. Adler sticks through thick and thin. He does not know what's going on. He figures out what's going on. He's like, there's a loop going on that's fucking up everything. And that's why he's pleading with Elster, just like, I don't know if you're going to be able to do whatever the fuck you're set out to do. Mm-hmm. I obviously can't fucking do it. You're fucking up everything. You like beyond our society right now, you're going to fuck up the way that the universe works. And that's why he's like pleading and saying, you selfish monster.
In Hereditary Annie, the main character, slowly comes to realize that there is something happening that is beyond her understanding, that is outside of her control, and she is trying to do everything in her power to stop it, but instead she does exactly what the cult around her wants her to do, which is basically perpetuate her own demise. And not that Adler's in the same position, but I feel like he's in a similar state of slowly beginning to comprehend that something beyond him is happening. He just doesn't know what to do about it, and he all he knows is that Elster somehow is making it worse, and he doesn't understand what that looks like, what he can do about it, or what he's supposed to
Right.
do. As far as
And
like,
what its relation to the Falco unit is, which he clearly cares about a lot.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it could be so that he maybe mistakes Elster's unit as her trying to kill Falca instead of Ariane, and his endless objective to just protect her because he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And so far as he understands, Falca's the only person with bioresonance near him. So maybe Falca is sending out suicidal signals to every fucking Elster unit, and he just wants to protect his homegirl or some dumb shit like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not Adler. I don't know what his
This
thought
is.
process is.
I'll tell you this. This is by far the. Well, not by far, because the Itaos are definitely the least explained part. But I feel like if that feels like by
Yes.
design, that feels like you're supposed to theorize. This feels like a part that was explained in some ways, and I'm sure on a replay I'd understand a little bit more. But I definitely don't understand. I definitely don't really get what why the Falco unit is the way it is and why it was the final boss, or I don't get any of that. That part is beyond me.
Well,
Um,
I think it's because the Falco unit isn't an Elster unit, but the Falco unit is a highly bioresonant model, right? And so she gets the beamed memories in her head, and she believes that she'll never, like, in the final beginning endings of the game, she's like she'll never dance with us ever again. She's basically telling Elster to give up because Falco believes that this isn't a thing that's going to happen. She's been beamed the memories per se, but not the promise because she isn't an Elster unit. She doesn't have the memories of Lilith Atal and went on the spaceship and is an Elster unit. So that the Falca has an entirely different interpretation of whatever the fuck is supposed to happen, and in a way, she's also been corrupted as well. I believe Elster units have been relatively untouched by the corruption, mainly because all of them are new, coming into one planet, and most of them haven't had to live through a fuck ton of loops and get corrupted.
right.
But more so our last one, who goes in, Falk is fucked up, and she's like, she'll never dance with us ever again. You gotta stop.
Mhm.
Like,
That
it's never going to happen. You're not going to be able to do the promise. It's just nihilistic ideas. And Elster comes in. She's like, "Whoa, I'll be able to fulfill the promise. I'll do it."
This kind of
well,
reminds me of Bo is Afraid.
okay.
What is that
I
one?
haven't. Yeah, neither of us have seen Bo's Afraid, sadly.
Okay.
I
Well,
haven't.
more or less, there's a theory. Basically, the plot of Bo is Afraid. Bo has mommy issues. His mom is like a really wealthy billionaire who basically sets up everything around Bo's life as a test to his loyalty to her. And at the end of the movie, Bo was put on trial um, based on the decisions he makes about how if he loves his mom or not. And there's a theory that that movie is cyclical and that he has lived his life thousands of times, always to be found guilty at the end of his life by his mom, trying to decide whether or not he loves her. And that just seems reminiscent of a lot of not the same stuff, but the very very final and cyclical themes that seem to be in the discussion and at play here.
Right.
But I think I'm thinking of this game like if Jack from The Shining crash landed into the Overlook, which just happened to be filled with bioresonance, and he like really wanted to kill himself because he was in so much pain. And before the promise to his wife saying that she would kill him if he was ever in so much pain. So he starts sending out bioresonant signals to every middle-aged woman who looks kind of like his wife, and they start getting corrupted memories of Jack's promise, and they all start fucking sprinting to the Overlook from every place on Earth trying to kill him. And then I don't know. the guy, the black guy who's in that movie who got killed by Jack. I can't remember his name. Is like Adler, like, "Hey guys, I'm just the housekeeper. Can you guys stop trying to kill the guy who lives here?" Or some dumb shit like
Yeah.
that. That's a very wonky analogy, and I don't think the what the fuck was that guy's name? I can't remember his name. I don't think that part makes sense, but I feel like it works in every other aspect.
Well, so that was one thing I wanted to posit, and I don't even necessarily believe it as much as I wanted to bring it up. Right, a Falca unit is also very bioresonant, right? Isn't the whole thing
Yes.
that the Falca unit is the most bioresonant? Except for
Yes.
aside, yeah, in general society, a Falca unit is the supreme bioresonance, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
if you bear that in mind, I wonder if that also comes into play for how things are. Well, I've wanted to first off, so you kind of brought up something. I'm very intrigued and interested in the whole concept that the Falca got the memories but not the promise, because then she's just all of the sorrow and none of the goal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
yeah, and so with that in mind, there's a part of me that wonders if I'm just going to say this out loud because it's in my soul.
Okay.
What if it's that Ariane's bioresonance, Ariane's like in her heart and everything, Ariane's bioresonance byproduct of calling out every Elster unit to complete the promise, and that's just it. Maybe it causes some of the radiation. Maybe it's that, it could be that, or slash and it is the Falca who has none of the promise and all of the sorrow. So it's both of them. Her bioresonance is causing everyone's degradation, and Ariane's
Yeah.
bioresonance is causing all the Elsters. Could that be possible? Is there anything to say not
So
or yes?
she's
Is
responsible for the boss fight. She's
right.
responsible for the boss fight. She's responsible because again, she is just another corrupted unit. She's just
Right.
like the fucking the leg heads. She's just like the other fucking anyone else that you find in that game. She's just corrupted and she doesn't understand the ideal. She's just trying to forge an Ariane that is strong enough to kill her. You know what I mean?
I think the reason why the Falk units might exist in the game is for narratively. Without the Falk units, all we have to infer the existence or infer the existence of bioresonant journal pages, but we don't ever see it in practice. When we see Falco, we as the audience learn, okay, there is bioresonance in this world and it is a thing to be feared, and our perception is something that can be fucked with. That's what we learn from her. And it's
So
important for us to learn that. And it would be fucking boring to get that from journal pages.
I definitely agree on a like plot on just like a level of this is how you learn. But
Should I
I guess
drink more
I'm more
alcohol?
hold on.
What are we thinking?
How deep are we in?
How incomprehensible am I right now?
No, I think you I think I understand what you're saying.
Should I drink like maybe more what's of mead? What are we thinking? Where would I end up there?
I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. No, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is I understand. All I'm saying is I think it could be a personal headcanon of mine because I don't necessarily see anything to say it's not the case. Right, as of right now, is just that it could hypothetically be that Falca went into the mines, got blasted with the memories, right, and then because she does not have the promise part, right, because she's all the pain and none of the goal, just hypothetically, it's that what happens when you get something so bioresonant and then degrade it, you get something that just kind of causes shit to happen. What, like, you look at what's the star unit, the unit that fucks with your vision and you have to do the radio thing.
Calibri. That's a Calibri unit.
Calibri units. Yes, Calibri unit. Yeah, I don't think the Calibri unit is bioresonant, and I don't think what the Calibri unit does is because of REN. I feel like once you degrade, hypothetically, once you take something that's bioresonant and then degrade it, they just start doing bioresonant shit and causing problems just by a byproduct of their mind fucked. So hypothetically, I'm saying I think it could be that crash down REN starts sending out a signal for Elsters and causes the Falca unit to brain rupture, and then because the Falca unit has now brain ruptured, the Falca this is so convoluted, but because the Falca unit's brain is fucked, now the Falca unit is causing shit too, but causing more direct,
No, I would agree with you. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I mean,
but the Falca unit would have been the first, regardless, on that planet.
Whatever happens, the Falca unit was the first. Yeah.
Yes, she is the first, regardless of anything on that planet specifically.
I think it takes the first thing that happens to the Falca unit is it just starts getting Itau's memories, right? That's still exposure to corruption.
She starts getting Elster's units. She starts getting Elster's units.
Okay, yeah.
Or memories, sorry.
That's what I mean. But that's what's happening on her initial base corruption. And then as her degradation furthers, what happens is just that she becomes hostile. And obviously her hostility is expressed through bioresonant attacks, like in the boss fight. But what's happening to her is just a more nuanced version to what happens to every other NPC, which is they stop functioning like they're supposed to and start just attacking whatever they see because they're fucked.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just my very long, weird theory that I don't yet have any information to dispute as of right now.
Oh.
But yeah, anyway.
I'm gonna fuck you.
Okay. Okay, fuck. I guess fuck me. What's up?
No, I was just like nicely, not like fuck you. I'm gonna treat you to a steak dinner and then have intercourse with you.
Because you got aroused because I theorized on your favorite game. That's what's happening.
Yes.
I understand.
I could take both of you onto a steak dinner, but I wouldn't take you on the same time because that'd be kind of rude.
All right, how does this relate to Signalis?
Okay. Let's go. This is the.
So this is by far the most.
I have the answer. The game developers have a lesbian, gay, Asian girl fetish, and this is their way to express that.
Yes.
And it's also racist because they used one character model and put them in different outfits and gave them different hair for the whole game.
Yes, Trenton, get in the fucking video now.
Boo, boo, boo.
Yes. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes. So hypothetically, this is the last question that I have in my head right now. So Josh, I just kind of like take me through it because even right now, I started watching the video, and even after rewatching the video, I forget what times we met Issa. We never met Erica, right? Erica. It was always
we
Issa
never meet Erica. We never met Erica.
It's
well,
easy.
So there's something I have to say about that, but anyways, we can keep on going.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, and
it's obvious.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just like if you have a brain, obvious, how these relate to the plot. Like we played the game, so I mean, you played the game. You should know best of all.
Okay, so I'd like to first off say. So first off, I put her in the middle. Let's visually in our brains, let's take Lilith Tao and let's put her to the side because we know that she's real. Whatever happens, at least with what we discussed, our theory, the working theory, she was the original mind Buster unit was copied off of, which means she's probably like fucking long dead or gone somewhere and she doesn't have any impact, hypothetically. So let's put her to the side and talk about Issa and Erica. Josh, what
It's
Don't tell me
obviously
that's
just
simple.
sloppy world building. It's just sloppy world building. They had to throw some extra lore in somewhere, so they just gave us sisters.
They just gave us
think
sisters that look around.
it's to further reinforce the fact that Itao is related to Ariane in a way, both romantically with the Lilith Itao and in I guess through school, because we have a scene where someone's getting bullied
Right.
and Erica Tao and Issa Tao, either or, are supposed to be with her as a friend. Depend on the last part of the game, because we know that Ariane had gone into the store and knew about the Taos and were at least kind of friends with the Taos. But we also know that Ariane never fit in with anywhere while she was under, and that's why partially why she chose to fucking lift off if she was a spy or if she was friends with the Taos or if she was super bullied. She didn't never felt in place anywhere, and that's why she blasted off to another fucking planet or blasted off into space and didn't fucking care about the consequences. No, I think there's heavy evidence to suggest that Lilith Tau is the Elster unit, the original Elster unit. We know that Ariane knew about the Ataus and were kind of friends with them, at least in some part, but we also know that they were either complicit with the bullying or just kind of ignored it with Ariane, because there is a scene where she is kind of getting pushed by other people, right?
Right. Right.
I think that the Issa Itao is in the game because of the fucked up reality bending.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Itaos were
yeah.
probably such a big part in her life. It's some kind of rewriting of history when Elster gets in there. It's like Elster would have known the Itaus because they were her sisters in a previous life. Ariane also knew the Itaus because they were her friends or in some kind of relationship in school. They both would have technically known them within their life periods, right? So that's why Itao is like, I'm trying to find my sister, Erica. And we don't really get any other information. She's not like, oh, well, I know where she is. I know what she was doing. I know what's going on. She's literally just like, oh yeah, I gotta find my sister. Kind of similar to how Elster is trying to find her loved one. And so I think it's kind of reinforcing the idea for Elster to, hey, you also have someone you need to find. Issa also needs someone to find. You're both trying to get something, right? This is both trying to happen. And so Issa and Erica are both unfortunately also byproducts and victims of this situation.
Okay. All right. So, random thing. So, what planet are we on? We are on planet
Earth.
Rockfront.
We are on planet
We're not
Rockfront.
Earth.
Rockfront.
We're on
I don't
planet
think
Earth.
We're on planet Earth.
Yes.
Ariane, Elster, Issa Itao, Erica Itao are on Rockfront. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that though, and I might be wrong.
So just hypothetically, let's just say the while we're playing the game is Rockfront. It doesn't really matter. It's just a snow planet. That's where we're at, right? We're on Rockfront. Oh, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so no. So in the beginning of the game, presumably the planet that we crash on, that's the original Elster unit, and they fucking crash into there. They don't understand what the fuck is going on because they just woke up. They just put Ariane in cryogenic sleep because they're like, I can't kill her. I'm just going to resume my duties trying to keep the planet up, and I'm just going to also go into cryogenic sleep, basically, right? They crash, Ariane's gone, they're like, oh shit. They're like, what the fuck just happened? And they're like, okay, well, I need obviously to find her. That's why she has the picture of actual Ariane, right? They obviously had a photo. So then they fucking venture out into the snowlands, this random fucking planet. They find a big hole. They travel down, and then we don't really know what happens to that original Ariane. We just know that's where the beginning point of where this all happens is because she either gets in contact or straight up just makes a new fucking being. And then that's where the promise comes, and that's when everything starts getting fucked up.
She makes a new what?
We don't know what specifically happens, but either because of her bioresonance, she gets in contact or she makes a new being, like a new god or eldritch being, whatever you want to call it. Something beyond our understanding.
Right.
She either gets in contact with it or makes a new one.
So here's what I'm trying to communicate. Here's the point of why I was saying what planet we're on. So let's just say we are on Snow Planet. That's where the game takes place. We crash land on Snow Planet, and that was Ariane's final grave because you got choked the fuck out, right? Anyway, so we crash on Snow Planet.
No, that's not her final resting place.
God damn it! So where?
I just have to say that.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. So here's my thing. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, clearly Ariane's childhood had the Ataus in it. That's clearly it. But also she got blasted off into space. So how did we go from planet that Ariane was on, gets blasted into space, crash lands, and then is somehow in the same place with the Ataus again? How did that happen? So where are we? First
that's the Eldritch being fucking trying to make it, because obviously Elster isn't going to be able to get into another spaceship and to get to the original planet where this all fucking starts happening, right? It's just a copy of that ship onto planet. That's why when in the Snow Planet, and honestly, Trent, I'm going to be honest with you, this is where it starts to get a little confusing. We can look at it because new Ariane grew up in the radio centers in Rotfront or whatever fucking planet,
right,
in the winter where it's super snowing, and that's where one of the other scenes comes in. So we don't know if that planet is the actual planet or if it's just another fabrication of Ariane or this being. We just don't know, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like you're gonna have to be comfortable with just not fucking knowing that the specifics of the story. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's my main. Sorry to interrupt you. That's my main thing that just leaves me with so much uncertainty now, where I just don't understand if the story that if the place that the game takes place in, if any of it is a real place. Because my initial interpretation was that they were blasted through space and then they crash landed. And it just so happened that they crash landed on a planet that was this mining facility, and then the promised shit. No, so that's not what happened.
No. Then, so they get shot out. So there's a star system with Rockfront, every other these fucking bullshit planets. They're a lot. Basically, what we know from the story is that this fascist government was in a sign of power, or in a show of power. They were like, hey, we're going to go find new planets. Let's just put these people on there and just send them out. And they were like, well, they're probably not going to find new planets. So fuck them. Who cares? We already showed our show of power. They're probably not going to find new planets. Who the fuck gives a fuck? I don't care, right? So they probably land on some backwater planet that's probably inhabitable. That's never going to ever be cultivated at all. Okay. What matters is that between that period, getting to crash landing on that planet and being in space somewhere, Ariane makes the promise that starts to fuck with the star system that's an actual fucking place. I think that the first part of the game that we play is real. When we go into the flesh pit, the nowhere area where we fight that boss, and where it's like all really fleshy, like I don't think that's real. The second part is real. So it's like we go from real. See, that's the biggest connection I've yet to make, Ashton. Thank you for asking that question. I'm kidding.
No, keep going, please.
But the second area that we go to isn't real, but it is a fabrication to try and harden and try to teach Arya or Elster the promise. It's trying to test her, to bend her limits, to be like, are you willing to go through with it?
Mhm.
Okay, well here's the promise. And that's why in the third part of the game, when we get to that last area, that's why she's like, I understand the promise now. I know what I need to do. And we go back to the real life area, and that's why we start seeing flesh everywhere in these real areas, is because it's starting to get more and more and more corrupted. Like it keeps on getting more and more corrupted because it's gone through these cycles. The bioresonance is, like Ashton said, it's like radiation. It's fucking up everything. It has a point to it, and it's trying to get something done, but over time, it's fucking up everything else on that planet, right? Because that's where she
So,
grew up in.
so hypothetically, are you saying Elster and Ariane crash land on a planet, and Ariane's bioresonance powers are so powerful that they blast out into space, and they just start affecting this planet, this random mining planet, and so I guess I just don't understand how.
What do you not understand?
Mind you, Ariane is not in. Ariane is not in that mining planet. So
Not actually,
then
but I
Elster.
do believe she grew up on that planet.
Okay. So that answers the Ital question. But my main thing was just I guess I don't now, and as you're saying, it doesn't really seem like there's an answer at all. I just don't get how it goes from Elsters are being sent to this mining planet, which Ariane is not actively at, and then so it's a real place that's getting corrupted, and then you go to fake places that are real, and somehow end up able ending the game able to find and kill her. I guess there's just a lot of weird.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately at this point she is fledged a being that we cannot understand, or maybe not her, but the promise, like this idea of that this event must take place for the universe to be happy, to return to neutral, right?
Right.
The original planet is a target for all of this, is because Ariane grew up there, right? So there's already familiarity there. Um, we know that the mining center was quite a source of contention for Ariane, because basically if you couldn't find a job by that, you had to go into the mines. And we know that Ariane was a person, and the government didn't like that. No one liked that, which is probably why she chose to go up into space, right? So we know that the mining operation down way below Earth is in contention. So that leads me to believe that Ariane would subconsciously choose that place to be the most negative place for this to happen, because it is, unfortunately, the promise is a very negative event in her life, because that includes her dying, right? Um, so Ariane isn't really a real person at this point. It's just an ideal for something to happen, right?
Okay.
It's just
So
for Elster to
okay. So hypothetically, right? So hypothetically, the promise is so abstract and was
it's
never
not the promise
it's
as
that
abstract. The ways that it takes to get to the promise is
yes
abstract.
the
Yes.
event of Ariane being choked out is not it was not literal and it was not physical. It was I guess because of how this cosmic power hypothetically fucking that Elster unit probably never even physically touched Ariane. Just the kind of promise and the one person able to physically fulfill the promise in this quote unquote like cosmic horror world thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
Well, what do we think of, regardless of all this in-world lore stuff about how all this all practically fits together? What thematically does that mean? If we're thinking of this like, is this thematically a person who's trying to forget somebody and kill somebody figuratively to move on from them, so that their world can stop being corrupted. Because if that is the symbolism, then it doesn't matter how this physically happens. What symbolically our Elster unit is killing this past relationship so that they can move on, and by that I mean the world around them can move on. I.e., forget your ex, go fuck bitches, go crazy, go
I do
party,
not.
do crazy.
Well,
I do
okay.
not.
See,
I do not take that interpretation.
here's another thing with the secret ending, and this is kind of something that I kind of realized after thinking about it a little bit after we had that first discussion, is that I don't think in any of the main three endings the loop stops, because
Fuck.
the ultimately the promise isn't happy with it. This being isn't happy, and Ariane also wouldn't be happy with it, because you kill her, it's ultimately really fucking sad, and they have to stop. You her and keeps on going through torture, and the promise is never fulfilled. If you don't even go in the ship, then none of those things fucking happen, right? And so we lead to the secret ending, where they go into a dance, and it's very very very, and I think intentionally so, very vague on what this ending kind of means, and they're just kind of dancing, but it zooms out to the eye, and I think the eye does a thing. It confirms that this entity is interested in this event, which is why I think that Ariane is promised, say, is the driving force behind everything. Because why would this entity, the red eye, be interested in some two lesbians fucking dancing if it wasn't for Ariane and the promise, right? I think that in a happier interpretation of the game, that the secret ending is the ending of the loop, because the entity is satisfied, as there is a happy median found, which is Ariane, or Elster, I should say, moving on. Period. That the Elster unit went through all this fucking bullshit, was basically not mind brainwashed, but was told, you need to do this. You are an Elster unit. Here are the memories, right? And she goes, well, I still loved her, and I'm willing to dance with her again. But if I can't, that's fine. And that's why she goes dance with the ghost of Ariane, right? And so that to me signifies the her letting go of everything, and is like, I'm just gonna do one last dance, one last eternal dance, maybe, because I this is me in a way letting go of the promise, because the promise is killing her. Dancing with her is not. You know what I mean?
Right. But listen, no, I just think, I guess I absolutely understand the thematic. Well, I'm not gonna say I absolutely understand the themes. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I
I
understand.
don't think you are supposed to fully understand the themes. I think it's kind of, and that's what I really like about the game.
Yeah, here's what I'm trying to say. Right.
Well,
I'm not. Well, what
certain
I
themes, certain themes.
yes, I feel like more than anything, the themes are what is most communicated, is what I'm trying to say. Because now, of course, themes, they are abstract, that everybody come out of this game and have a different kind of rendition of what they thought it thematically meant. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
And whereas like Ashton has that interpreted. I don't feel that necessarily. Right. However, so that's the one thing though that but still the game is very clear, at the very least, that it is thematically about a romance and different such and such. What I'm saying is just the physical aspect of the game. There's a part of me that wants to understand it, but I literally don't think you can. Maybe, and I want someone. I desperately listen. If you're a Signalis viewer, if you like Signalis, I would love to know. At the end of the day, I know it doesn't matter. Like trying to search for um, physical things in a thematic game, but I would like to understand. Right? I would like to know if the ending that we played out, did I physically get my grip, my dirty Elster grip on Ariane's neck, or was it all so abstract? How much of what I saw was physically happening, or how much was just
It
a thought. You know what I mean?
It feels like
yeah.
what it sounded like Josh was saying earlier is that probably not. And what's important in these situations is to recognize what, like, regardless, does it change the themes whether or not physically you were there?
No, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You came late to the conversation. No, I'm saying I absolutely understand that it doesn't necessarily matter, but I do appreciate understanding what physically happened. Is all.
I agree.
That's all I'm at. Like for the point of a discussion such as this, it's like I think we have discussed it. And we all have our own different views about like what thematically it meant. But I also am just curious. If in any way the game presents us a definitive view of if I physically did it or if it was how much was mental. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, well, I think that a lot of it was physical. Like everything that you do in the game, gameplay wise, I think it's physical. But the game intentionally doesn't explain to you a lot of the other bullshit, and that's
No.
where it comes to you to look into the game and go, okay, what the fuck is surrounding this game?
Fuck
Yeah,
You know what I
that.
mean?
That's why I resent this game.
Okay. So all I was I a quick little thing before we wrap this up is I just like to posit. What if hypothetically it's like everything?
Are you
The
eating
red
pizza
world-
right now? What are you eating? What are you eating? What are you eating?
This is a waffle and a cinnamon roll from earlier today.
Fuck! That sounds really fucking good.
Guys,
Dude, where's that waffle from? Where's that waffle from? You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me.
No, don't even. It's this piece of shit place that was too expensive. This waffle's mid and the syrup sucked. I don't want to talk about it.
Is it
now.
like better? Is it better than worse than Waffle House?
Let's
Tell me
talk
that.
about the fucking game. It's worse than Waffle House.
Okay.
Is this game worse or better than Waffle House, Ashton?
Yeah, Ashton, what do you think?
I'd rather have Waffle House.
Fuck! Why didn't I think of that?
All I'm saying is the last bit of on this discussion I just wanted to add was just simply what if, because as you're saying it was physical and it wasn't. There were physical parts and then there weren't physical parts. Hypothetically, what if everything we see in the game was physical except for the evil red world? Because that was by far the most visually abstract thing that can't be explained.
That's what I said, Trin. That's what I said.
You never brought up the red world. You never brought up.
No, I brought up the red. What do you mean the red world? Okay, hold on. What about the
red?
Tell me about the red.
Are you talking about when the game saves and it's red?
No, guys. No. What the fuck?
He's talking about the ending. So Trenton, Trenton, bro fist your mind. Okay, hold on. I can explain this. Before I told you that below the mining area is the one of the beginning spots of this, and fucking the Falca unit goes into there and gets fucked up, right?
Right.
This isn't real. This is a well, okay, it isn't in a beyond our understanding way. It is physical that you could probably walk in the infinite red sun or red sands, but this is an environment only meant for Elster, and she could probably only traverse this. If you go back into the cutscene, we see a bunch of other dead Elsters that couldn't make the journey, and that is important because this whole game is trying to foster the correct Elster, trying to build a Elster that will eventually fulfill the promise, right? And all the Elsters and all the other endings that isn't the secret ending revolves around the promise that you couldn't do the promise, that you could do the promise, and that you don't even want to interact with the promise, right? The secret ending has you totally acknowledge the promise and go into the ship, but you go, hold on, I don't even really care about the promise. It's not that I don't want to interact with it, and it's not that I want to do it. It's just that I would rather do something else and forget about it and enjoy the memories that I had with you. Right. And that's why I think that's the ending. That's what truly ends the loop, because then that's a satisfactory ending. That's a satisfactory answer to both of them, to both of their stories.
That's really good writing to make the secret
Right.
ending the definitive one.
All I'm saying
does
is
evoke.
I just see the whole thing of non-reality and reality and physical places and different worlds or whatever. I imagine that just from my view of things, it's that the mining facility and the effects to it were real and physically happening, and real creatures were being affected by this bio radiance, right? And then when we get to the evil red dimension, that is its own that is its own different world. That as I've guys, guys.
I'm sorry, Ashton started laughing at my bit, and then I started laughing more, and now he's breaking down. I'm sorry. No, I
I
agree with you
think
though. It's that
I
it's
think
it's
it's
it's a new dimension.
yes. I think it's clear this video can go no further.
Wait. I just want to say a few things. I want to say a few things.
Okay.
It seems obvious to me that in this world the Axis powers won, which is why everything is in German, even though all of the characters are Japanese, because the Axis powers won and the Japanese and the Germans eventually chorused into one super being. B, this game sucks. Fuck this game because it reminds me of the movie I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which is based off of a book. But if you haven't read the book, the movie makes no sense. The movie is just a bunch of like random shit happening surrounding this one character, and it turns out what you're seeing is a journal being written by a suicidal person. But the movie doesn't tell you that, so the movie doesn't make any fucking sense. So it only makes sense if you read the book, and that's how this game feels. Except there is no book. There's just a fucking Reddit where you're supposed to go and learn everything. That's fucked up. I should have to go to Reddit to figure out a game. Also, please cut out the part where I said.
So now
No.
You see, Ashton. This is where Signalis begins. You're now Elster. I was the original Elster.
Tristan, get that shit off the fucking stream. You are not allowed to put that in the video.
Thank you all for watching. It was great. It's been a great series. I honestly didn't expect this video to go so far, but I'm passionate. This game's cool, and there's a lot of questions, and I hope this was as illuminating to you as it was for us. If you have any clarifications that either three of us that you want to give, just definitely let us know. I don't know
If you say that I'm wrong, I'm killing myself.
Bear that in mind. Please bear that in mind. No, but if we get enough like interaction and all that, I'd love to make another discussion because this game's great. And there's a lot to talk about. So, yeah, that's it.